First things first, Ja Morant went off last night. Could Ja possibly be the best player in this series? Steve Kerr says Dylan Brooks broke the code, but was this play physical or was it dirty? And Draymond Green making headlines again for his, we're going to call them, big circles. Extracurricular activities. First things
We've
first.
upgraded our blur game.
Good morning, everyone. Jenna Wolf, you had to blur that. Nick Wright, Chris Broussard, Kevin Wilds. Kevin, take a closer look, Wilds. What'd you make of Dre's gesture? You have to really put those.
I don't know. I can't tell. Maybe there's an uncensored version on the internet, but right now I have no even idea what he's doing.
That's right.
Who knows? Have you met the internet?
Goodbye.
There's nothing uncensored about the internet. We'll get to Dre in a second. Here we go. We're in Boston. Bucks Celtics game 2. Milwaukee owned game 1. Last night it was a whole different story. This was Boston's night from the get-go. Tatum and Brown, who struggled in game 1, combined for 59 points last night. Jaylen Brown couldn't make a shot in the first game. Couldn't miss a shot last night. How about Jaylen? 25 of his game-high 30 came in the first half. So Boston wins this easy, 109-86. They are all knotted up at a game apiece. Broussard, what did the Celtics, your Celtics, the team you did not waver from, take integrity, what did they prove last night?
Yes. Well,
Yes.
Jenna, first of all, they did prove that I was correct in standing my ground and refusing Nick Wright's disingenuous and condescending olive branches.
Not what
He did it Monday. He did it Tuesday.
Is that how it happened?
Nick, Jenna, how did I say it? How did I make my prediction?
With your chest.
With my chest,
With
Nick.
base,
I'm not
with your
going
chest.
away from it, all right?
Yes.
Thank you. So that was the first thing they proved. Second thing they proved is that this is going to be a long, tough series, as I predicted, because the Celtics have something that no other team in the league has. And they've got something that none of us, including me, in predicting that the Celtics would win the series, they have something none of us thought existed. And that is a way to slow down the best player on the planet. Nick, they have proven, at least in these first 2 games, to have the kryptonite for the world's greatest player.
That's too far.
Check these numbers out. Giannis is shooting 38% from the floor. I know he's scoring, 26, 27 points a game, but he's shooting 8% from the floor. No team has done that since Giannis became Giannis. That 2015, that was his second year in the league, first playoff series. He averaged 12 points a game that year, so he wasn't himself yet. But since then, Nick, no one has done this. Let me put it in a little more perspective. Last year in the playoffs, all 4 series, Giannis shot 57%. In the finals against a strong Phoenix defense, he shot 61%. Even when they were beaten in the bubble in 5 games by Miami, he shot 55%.
Yeah.
And in his last 26 playoff games, Nick, his last 26 before this series, he had been held to 40% or less shooting 1 time.
Yep.
The Celtics have done it twice in 2 games. And he's going to get his points, but they are making it so hard on him. He's being so inefficient. And look, I didn't think he would be this inefficient. But I did think that this is where the loss of Chris Middleton would come in. I thought they would need that second bona fide scorer in Middleton. And if they're going to continue to hold Giannis to this type of inefficiency, then the loss of Middleton could be their demise, Nick.
The problem is, Brew, they're not going to. The problem is you made that whole case, and it actually made me feel better. It made me want to once again. You said I did it Monday. You said I did it Tuesday. I will now do it today, Wednesday.
Save your breath.
Allow you, take amnesty. They don't play again until Saturday. And by the way, America, I've been very judicious with the NBA playoff picks I've given out on this show, and I've given out nothing but winners. I do not walk, run to your local bookmaker, to Fox Bet, or your local casino brick and mortar establishment and bet Milwaukee -3 while you still can get it for Game 3 on Saturday. I don't know how long it's going to be 3. It could move up. We move numbers on this show. Milwaukee -3 is the next pick we're giving out. I bet it literally. Pause the show if you're watching, with the DVR machine. Make the bet and then come back to us. Okay, welcome back. Here's why you should feel better about that. First of all, the story, everything Bruce said about Giannis is true. I just don't think it's sustainable. Everything Bruce said about the Celtics defense is accurate. I just don't think they are going to do that for the rest of the series. But the other reason they won, Wilds, was because they hit 17 more threes than Milwaukee. 20-3 in the three-point game. That has happened one other time in NBA playoff history, and it is one of the most famous games in NBA playoff history. Game 6, 2016, Conference Finals, Warriors, Thunder, otherwise known as the Klay Thompson game. They had a 17-plus three-point discrepancy. Last night, Boston did. Now, some of that Milwaukee does. We talked about it. Dare you to shoot threes, but they don't then usually only hit 3 themselves. So I think Boston will have another game in this series where they hit 17, 18, 19, 20 like they did last night threes. I just don't think it will go along with Milwaukee only hitting 3. I think that Milwaukee is going to be fine. They got the split that they needed to get. Nobody was saying Milwaukee was going to sweep this series. And Giannis tried to do what I said he needed to do, go out and strangle the series with a massive first half. He took 10 shots. Problem was he only made 1 of them. I just don't think that's going to happen again. I feel fine. If I'm a Bucks fan, I feel fine.
Okay, I think those are both fair points, but I lean towards Broussard's side of things for this reason. The Celtics used the nuclear option, which is the Kevin Wildes tie defense. And what the Kevin Wildes tie defense is you don't need to totally ruin somebody to throw them off their game. You just need to play defense like I treat my ties. See that? Yeah, Nick, you're on it. Just if you're just a little bit off, all of a sudden you become very inefficient at delivering a point. So when you look at Giannis's shot chart, right near the basket, a lot of green. But if you move him off his spot a little bit, a lot of red. And that's why we've seen his field goal percentage in the paint drop. Regular season, 66%. Against the Bulls, we're at basically 73%. And now against the Celtics, we're at 43%. So how is it happening? Oh, Grant Williams. Let's look at 2 plays that sort of indicate this. This is first quarter, coming down here against Grant. The announcer's like, wow, he's giving away a lot of size. Graham's like, I don't care. And then the next quarter comes down and hits the brick wall that is Grant Williams. So look, I don't think they're going to totally neutralize Giannis. But if you just move somebody off their spot of where they want to be, just like my tie's supposed to be here, but just move it off the spot, next thing you know, the whole segment is ruined. It's a very effective way to slow somebody down, Broussard.
No, you're right. And look, let's remember, they did all of that last night without the Defensive Player of the Year in Marcus Smart. So, look, I agree with Nick. It's hard to imagine that this is sustainable. But, Nick, what I don't think is that Giannis is going to shoot 55 to 60% over the rest of the series either. So is he going to fall somewhere in? Is he going to shoot 44, 45% for this series? That is enough, I believe, if Boston's 2 stars. And yesterday they showed up, right? Jaylen Brown dominated the first half. Jason Tatum the second half.
100%.
If they can continue to play well offensively, then I think they can beat Milwaukee with this defense on Giannis. And you mentioned the threes and what they did yesterday. They did hit more mid-range. It still wasn't a mid-range barrage, but they hit 6 mid-range jumpers compared to 1 in game 1. What they did was they didn't just settle for the quick 3. They drove and either took a mid-range jumper or kicked it, and the threes 100%. Were more open. So we keep saying Ime Udoka, Nick, this dude is proving to be a fantastic coach, win or lose this series.
I agree with you absolutely on that, and you were right that they did at least lean in a bit more to the mid-range, and it's good, by the way. There is a part of me that is rooting for Broussard in a lot of ways because a kind of underrated story of last night's games, not just one game, but both games, is the official NBA awards voters continuing to just take a beating. You have LeBron calling you guys a bunch of dweebs. Now, you didn't vote Ja most improved, but your colleagues did.
Yeah,
you didn't.
no,
Brews off the hook on that. However, I'm just curious, did Boston look like they were missing the league's best defensive player yesterday? Not to me. To me, it didn't look like, oh my God, the league's best defensive player is not out there. So I feel like, and those league voters that are about to award an MVP to someone who's 13 time zones away already because his season ended last week, it says it's going to be a rough 10 days for official league.